Well, hello everybody, and this is our day to talk with a very special person to me and to the city of Memphis. She's a local artist. She is a an ordained minister of God, and she has a story to tell. And we want to just welcome um, her on behalf of our digital diamonds. um, so this is our book club month for Graveyard Love. Those of you who have not gotten your copy, we definitely want to make sure you get your copy. We'll have a link on Amazon for you to go in and support our local artist, Lisa Roby. I'm introducing you to Lisa Roby. Well, hello, ma'am.
Hello. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good.
We definitely want to talk about this book that you wrote. I believe it was 2007?
Yeah,
Or
2007
like
or 2008.
Okay, okay. So we're gonna just tell the people a little bit, give us a little bit of history about you and how you got to Memphis and what brought you here and how Graveyard Love got written.
Okay. Well, basically, I am an Arkansas native. I left here in '87, moved to Denver, Colorado, and then I came back in 1996. The Lord told me that I need to come back home, take care of some situations that were not taken care of before I left. Came back to take care of my grandmother. And it ended up being vice versa. We were taking care of each other, to say it like that. But, then from that, I originally moved to Memphis, Tennessee. Then I moved to Mississippi. But it is a journey as far as Graveyard Love is concerned. Graveyard Love, first of all, is a autobiography that's about my life story, which you're right, it is a story to be told. A lot of people don't understand why I would write about it and tell everything about my business, but it's not about my business. It's about the message of the book. And it's based on forgiveness, which is something that we all have a problem with because a lot of us don't know how to forgive. We say we forget, but we don't forgive, and you got to do both in order to move to another level. So I always tell people that when you read Graveyard Love, if you cannot forgive someone, after you read that book, you should be able to forgive anyone.
That is
for anything.
That's the truth. That's the truth. There's a message and the things that have happened, that you've gone through, and we don't want to give too much away because it's important for people to have their own experience. That's right. With the book. So, so you came from Arkansas to Memphis to help with your grandmother.
Yeah, came from Denver back to Arkansas.
Oh, okay. From Denver to Arkansas. Okay, and don't that isn't it always that way when we have to take care of our family and you just never know the direction that your life will go in, and it's not always coming from circumstances within yourself. Right. It's being there for others that often guides our direction and our steps.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
So, what about the challenges you faced with writing this book?
Basically, I tried to write the book earlier, some years prior to that. But then God said it wasn't time yet. So I had to stop in the midst of writing. I had to wait until after certain things happened at the end, and then he said, "Now it's free to write it." So.
Now I'm gonna say this, and only because when we're talking about how God said to do something, and how did you know that it was God talking to you, and how did you know to make those decisions and it was time?
Okay. Well, mainly, first of all, we have to be in a position where there's a relationship between God and yourself. Because when you have a relationship with Him, then He can talk to you and through you. So we have to make sure that we hear Him, because, like you said, we can hear two voices, but you got to know which one is which. So it was mainly dealing with the fact of everything that I went through. He said you need to share it with other people, let them know that if I brought you through, I can bring them through. So that's why.
Exactly.
But you got to know the voice.
That is so true.
You got to know the voice.
And knowing that that difference is a big part of how we choose the direction that we're going to go in. And we always want to choose the right way.
Right.
And a lot of times we take that and give it power, not really trusting, you know. That's where faith comes in, I think.
It does.
You know, you really have to be in tune, like you said, with your own relationship.
That's right.
And where those desires are coming from. Right. So, but talk to us a little bit about your inspiration for Graveyard Love.
Well, mainly my inspiration was just the fact of learning what forgiveness was, because I didn't always know. But I found that in the midst of sometimes when we're dealing with certain issues like, you know, with hurt and things like that, we don't know how to deal with. But see, that's the reason why the word is my inspiration, because that what kept me. To make it through, I was saved at the age of 11 years old. So I knew what holiness was at 11 years old. I had a best friend that introduced me to holiness. I knew about God, but I didn't have that relationship with Him at that age until after I realized what the difference was between, you know, sometimes we got family members that are Baptists, we got Jehovah's Witnesses, we got all these different things, and I'm like, well, nothing, you know, all this is okay, but when my girlfriend introduced me to holiness, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I want right there. I was very, very, very interested in having what I saw them have.
Okay.
And so at 11 years old, my girlfriend and I would go to church with her on weekends. Then I would come back home, and I told my mom, I said, I want to be Pentecostal. She said, well, that decision is left up to you. What religion you want to be in.
So what did you see in them at that time at 11 years old that really drew you in?
Man, the jumping, the praising God a certain way, you know, falling out, you know, falling holy rollers and stuff like that. I'm like, I want that right there. I want that. You know, and I wanted to do whatever God would use me to do. When I saw other people can, you know, touch people and lay hands and do this. And you know, it was just amazing. Yeah. You know, I was like, I got to have it. I didn't want nothing else. I've never been Baptist. I've never been nothing else. But Pentecostal all my life. Yeah.
So has that ever changed for you, that desire?
No, it got even, I got more hungry for it after I went through some things. But at one time in my life, I did go away. You know, they say you be saved. Once you're saved, you're always saved. But the thing about it, we can't leave God. God doesn't leave us, but we leave Him. So throughout my journey, I did go away because my faith had gotten to the point I just didn't understand at one time why certain things were happening to me. But then the word said, why not you?
Okay. You speaking a word right there.
You know, so yeah. I went through some things, and that, you know, and He just let me know that, you know, we question Him, but even though the word said, did I question Him for? He do all things for a reason. So everybody have to remember that everything we go through is for a reason. We may not understand why this happened, why that happened, you know, but it's for a reason. It's a message in it. You just got to find out what it is. It's a reason for it. Yeah. But we just got to find out what it is. But it's only to make us stronger. Yeah. And to make us believe more. Right. Yeah. And to trust more.
I can hear you saying that the things that we encounter or that we see other people going through, there's a message in what they're going through just for us because we can see it.
That's right.
And so we have to use that as part of our own way to vicariously experience and maybe not have to go through the entire thing, you know. Now that I, am older, of course,
Yes, ma'am.
we can understand, a little bit more about what we've gone through and why we had to experience that. Do you know why you had to have such a huge theme of forgiveness in your life?
I think with me being the only child, and I felt like I was like the black sheep of the family because my mother was one of 14. And she the only child that had one child. And I've been through the most that I know of for us from a child on up. And he said he only going to call those who are strong, that will be able to face certain things and go through endurance, go through some things. So everybody's not chosen. So I felt like I was chosen because I went through all of this and all of that. And I'm just like, why am I going through all this? But then I said, he said, you only choose those who are strong, that are able to go through. And so that's how I felt about it when I got older. So I'll be a testimony. I'll tell the story, Sometimes I didn't want to say anything about it because people had their own different views of my life, And then when I came back here and everybody saw me, he's like, Lisa, is that you? I'm like, yeah, this me. Because a lot of things I faced, people just didn't think I would be here where I am today. But only by grace and mercy am I still here.
Yeah, exactly.
Still here.
Yes.
Still going.
In your good mind.
Yeah, in my right mind.
In your right mind, and being able to even have a discussion today, about the book and about your journey. Well, what are some things that you've been through as far as forgiveness? Like, what can you give us an example? Not necessarily from the book, but can you give us an example of how forgiveness, that you had to really search yourself to be able to forgive? How do you know you've forgiven?
Well, the thing about it is, when I was younger, I didn't really understand what forgiveness was. But as I got older and I started reading more, and I understood that forgiveness, he said, in order for you to be forgiven, you have to forgive. So I didn't have no choice. I have to forgive in order for to be forgiven, right? So I learned that, okay, for example, you know how you can forgive somebody for something that's real small. At one time, I couldn't do that. It was just like, that's the worst thing. You step on my foot, I'm like, excuse you?
And my shoes are new?
Yeah,
And my shoes are new, and you just, yeah.
And I realized after the things I went through, which were worse than that situation right there. But the thing about it, God had to give me a new heart, though. I could not do it by just reading and studying and learning. But you still can say you forgave, but if you don't change the heart. See, but the thing about with me, he didn't change mine. He had to give me a new one.
Okay. And
I had experienced that when I went to one of my jobs and they had me working with cardio. I was like, cardio. And dealing with cardio was dealing with the heart. And so I was like, well, Lord, you put me in a place that I once refused to work at one time, but I ended up coming right back to the same job, but in a different area, but still dealing with people. So now being in ICU, I see some things.
Yes.
But the one thing about it, I tell people every day on that job, I said, I'm not here just to be here, but I'm sent here on an assignment. And I can't leave until God releases me. Even though I may say I'm ready to go. He said, no, not yet.
That's the whole truth. I tried that myself.
and so my nurses would always say to me, Miss Lisa, you put that oil on y'all. Y'all been gone now. So you can pull the oil out in a minute. So.
Speaking of oil. We're going to segue right on into, because it's so, look, I reread the book and I literally use my forgive oil and it does help.
Yeah. Yeah,
it helps because there's still, even when you read somebody else's story, you have feelings and emotions that arise in you because the first thing you say, oh my, I wouldn't have took, you know, these kinds of things. You decide in your mind how you would have handled it, but the truth is you just don't know how you would handle it.
That's right.
Until you either read it or you go through that actual situation, and those real emotions come up and they show up in your body.
Oh yeah, they do.
And when you feel that, and you say something is not right here, because I shouldn't feel like I want to take somebody's head off. Right. You know what I'm saying? I really should not. But even though, you know, that feeling, like Jesus experienced emotions. He turned over tables, and he was upset over some things. And he didn't apologize for that. Because those were his feelings. And he did not let his feelings change his heart.
That's right. Well, that's why he said, angry but sin not.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that you can't get angry.
Emotions are real.
That's right.
And we are valid to feel them. And we're valid to express them as long as we are not hurtful to someone else when we do it.
Right. But one thing about that unforgiveness, though, the unforgiveness will cause sickness.
Ooh.
It will cause some sickness, illnesses you never thought of that will come out in your body because if you don't have your heart, if you haven't forgiven someone, you know it because everything start having this and that going on with your body. You're like, what is that? When that come up from? What is that?
Yeah.
Well, it's because we still got some unforgiveness in there and don't know it's there.
You know, I've heard a lot of doctors, and I look at a lot of other podcasts, and back pain is one of the main symptoms for trauma. That is in the body. And I mean, there's so many other things that come up they can explain. But trauma sits there, and if we don't, you know, do anything about it, it will show up, and it's gonna have to come out.
Oh yeah, it's got one way or another.
One way or another.
It comes out in all kind of ways.
Comes out.
Like, where is that coming from?
So I see what you're saying. You know, forgiveness is important, and everybody is going to encounter that at some point. I don't care how small or how big the deed is. Forgiveness will be, you will meet forgiveness at some point. And to be able to forgive yourself, it's not really for the other person. It's for you.
It's for you. That's right.
Because that is how your body has internalized the pain. And in order to release that pain and allow that soil of your heart to even be tilled enough so you can have new things planted that are good and that are kind and loving. In order to have those things in the heart, you've got to pluck up the weeds and take things out that don't belong there so that you can get the good seed and fruits.
Yeah, so true.
Wow. So what are you working on now? Like, are you working on another book? Oh, wait a minute. There's another book that you guys have already have. Now, this is going to be another one that we're going to have to study. We already have our next month book chosen, but Encourage, and I love how you have it spelled, Encourage. This is Lisa M. Roby and Terrence D. Roby. Can you tell us who that is?
Oh, that is my wonderful husband that the Lord blessed me with. 27 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's my prayer partner. That's my best friend. That's just,
that's beautiful.
Without him, he's the one that's made me to be the woman that I am. What I mean by that is he's the one that's prayed for me when I couldn't pray for myself. He's up at 3 a.m. every morning praying for everybody because you know he wants everybody to be saved.
Yes.
Amen?
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my husband.
Of course. Now I knew that.
I know you.
But you gotta tell the people. You gotta tell the people.
That's my husband.
And he's actually my God.
That's right.
And talk about a sincere, kind, gentle man of God.
Yes, all of that.
That's all I've ever known from him.
He's never changed.
All I've ever known from him, and I'm telling y'all, when she says he is a praying man,
oh yes,
you better know he is a praying minister of God,
yes,
and I'm grateful for both of y'all.
Well,
I really am.
For you too.
And we, like I said, we're just going to make sure that these books are acknowledged, because you've got people in Memphis. What can you give a little bit of an encouraging word for people who are new to writing and have books inside of them and they know they do? What could you say to help encourage them to get their books out and get it written?
Well, the first thing about it is, you seek God first. Make sure that He has allowed you to do so, because you want to do what God say do, not what we want to do, because it won't prosper that way. Our books, or that book, probably would have been farther. But I'm not one of those that just likes to be in the land, in the light, lamplight. I don't like to just be out front. For supporting the book or pushing it. But if you're a person that's a go-getter and you're gonna go do what you got to do, no problem. It's every aspect of getting your book done. You can do it yourself, or you can pay somebody else to do it for you. So there's different avenues. Basically. Me and this wonderful young lady, which is a very dear friend of mine, we got together and we did this book together. She was a publisher at that time. None other than your very own Miss Mitchell right here. She is the editor of that book that you see. And just to let you know, it was just amazing opportunity for us to get together and try to do this together. And we did it. We could have kept going, but other things came about and life changes, and we just did other. But like I said, she can tell you how to do some things because she's the one that did that one for me. But then there are other ways where you can just publish the book on your own by just going by steps. It's not hard to do. It's just all about doing it.
Getting you done and having that desire to do it.
Yeah, you gotta have a desire to do so.
Speaking of desire, would you say that if somebody desires to do something that is that would change the world and make it better than they came here, when they leave, is that coming from God?
Well, I said like this, it says in the book about that we should leave what is the word I'm trying to say? We want to leave, we want to leave something for our children's legacy. So mainly that a lot of times that's what that is. We want to leave a legacy that it'll be carried on. Because I've known people that are doing one thing in the world, but God is still first. I remember a pastor saying, he said, yeah, I love the Lord. The Lord is first, but I do secular music to make my money. So he let you know, no matter what I do, God is still first. But he still had to make a living.
Right.
So sometimes people don't really understand that with people that's in the secular world, that why they doing this and why they doing that. But now I'm kind of seeing that, sometimes you have to still have God first, but then, you still got to do, but as long as you're not going out of the way.
What do you mean out of the way?
You getting to the point where you're doing things that's against God's will, or you start.
So if you own a liquor store, if you don't drink up all your product.
I pray to God that you ain't drinking at all. But I found out a lot of people that love the Lord are owning those places. And sometimes you don't know that. But then there's just other ways that we can do things that we don't have to do. Some things you just got to make sure that you pleasing God, because He's the one that's got the last say so. He's the only one that's got heaven and hell to put us in. Amen. So the thing about it, we got to make sure that He's pleased with us.
And just like, if it lines up with who you are as a person, like if it's bothering you,
right, that's
then that's not your thing.
Thank you. That's why I said, as long as you know
you have to have the relationship, because it takes all of us to make this world go around. It does. It takes all, and we all, come from the same source. So we don't all have the same heart.
Right.
But that's the difference. Right. Our experiences make us different.
That's right.
And how we encounter those experiences and how we allow those experiences to change us. That's right. Will make the difference. Yeah. So, and I tell you what, with knowing what's in the pages of this book, and knowing and seeing your beautiful smile, and knowing how kind and loving that you are, that didn't have to be your story.
Mm-mm. It could have been a long way.
It could have been a whole other way.
It could have been a long way.
Because there's so much room for you to have made so many other choices.
That's right.
In your life. Yes. And to see that you have a great life and a wonderful marriage and beautiful children and grandchildren. Gosh, it's incredible. So get your copy, y'all. Graveyard Love. It is no joke. And it's not because I edited it. I know what's in it, and I know the message that it has, and I know that forgiveness is key.
Yes, it is.
Because no matter what you go through in this life, you will encounter a reason that you need to forgive.
That's right.
So, thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome.
Miss Elder Roby. And I found that out today. Oh my gosh, she's an elder. I was like, oh my gosh. And not just talking about age. We're talking about an ordained elder. Ordained. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Well, all I can say to you that I didn't call myself.
That's important.
But my pastor
that's
decided that he saw when you got a pastor that receives from God and sees and hears, and he's very obedient, and he let us know that it was time for elevation for a lot of us. So in the total of all of us, it was 12.
Oh, yeah. Wow!
Yeah, not all elders, but there were different categories.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Yeah.
So one last thing, I may have touched on this already, but your next project, what are you working on? What's important to you right now?
Basically, have my own business, but just haven't really got out there yet. Doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But hopefully I have a script from Graveyard Love that has been written. It was written in 2014.
Okay.
But has not been made it to the big screen yet.
Okay. So come on through, Tyler Perry. Where are you?
So we praying that the Lord bless that. If it don't get nowhere but to Lifetime, it's all right with me.
Hey.
I just want the message to get out.
Yes.
To let them know that, if God did it for me, He can do the same for you.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Love you so much.
I love you
are
more.
And okay, Digital Diamonds, get your copy and tune in. I'll let you know what our next book of the month will be, and it's already chosen. Oh, wow. Should I go on and tell them?
Yeah.
The Garden Within by Dr. Anita Phillips. Y'all, if you haven't gotten that copy, go ahead and pick it up as soon as possible. It's also available on Audible, and we'll get into that in April. But in the meantime, you still have time for Graveyard Love by Lisa Roby, and it's not a hard read either. It's you can get through it really quickly and allow that message to really speak to you. And I'll have to tell you, I've got forgiveness oil.
Yes,
that is a real blend. Yes. Can you tell them about the oil? And this is not, look, she bought her own bottle.
That's right, I did.
And I just said, let me know how it works. What do you have to say about that?
Well, one thing I can say about the oil is that the oil actually does help me with anxiety, because when I first used it, And she gave me the steps on how to use it. I said, I want to use it correctly. I don't want to just use it any kind of way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so when you sent it to me and I started using it, it really did kind of calm me down, keep me calm. Anxiety didn't get out of hand. But it's great. Yeah, you have to get it.
Good.
I love it. I love it.
Good. Yeah. So you can tell when you don't have it or when you're not using it.
And I try to use it first thing in the morning, and you have to read it and meditate. Read on your word, and it just helps even more.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Forgiveness oil, y'all. It's out there. It's out there. I'll put a link in the description. So there are things out there. God put everything on this earth. When He put us in the garden, He put everything there that we needed, including the things that we didn't need to buy.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
So that was because He wanted us to have free will.
That's right. That's
because
what it is.
He's like, I'm not going to make you worship me.
That's right. That's right.
But I want it to come from your heart.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, but anyway, love y'all. Digital Diamonds, y'all are awesome.
I love you.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.